Well, for the first time in my career, I'm on the top step of the podium with a trophy. Never mind, it wasn't to be, but somebody else will be standing on the top step here this weekend because we have some brilliant racing action coming up for you in the finale. Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire. This is Thundersport Plus. Welcome back to Cadwell Park for the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Supersport. Lining up on pole position here, a familiar face but in a new class, Chris Hellewell, number 64. He's been on a fair few bikes in his time, but Sparklight Racing opportunity here for him on the Yamaha. Can he get himself on that podium? If we look further back and see Nick Wainwright there, number 68, and then Joel Williams, who was a race winner of course last time out when we were at Donington Park. Further back, there's number 18, slightly different colour scheme for Carl Foster, who was crowned champion yesterday. He only needed a couple of points, so many congratulations to Carl Foster, who is the ThundersportGB Sparklight Racing Golden Era Supersport champion. And I can tell you that in the background there, you see number 142 just going across your picture there. Chris Spink has wrapped up the Golden Era Steel Sport Championship as well, so many congratulations to him. Jack Haverkamp not here this weekend. Nevertheless, Chris Spink had a handy lead in the championship anyway, so Jack would have had a bit of a mountain to climb, but Chris has got it wrapped up, so championship sorted. Good for both of them. And now just down to the racing, and there's a few handy riders out there. There is Phil Cox, number 56. Sam Cox's dad, actually, the rider that races in the 450 Aprilia Championship. And Chris Hellewell has already got to the front. There's Carl Foster, the champion, number 18. Another rider that hails from Scunthorpe. He and his brother Mark both raced all season long, although he biffed himself up a bit with the bike last time out. Hellewell it is that leads from Nick Wainwright and Joel Williams. There is Mark Foster, 36. Number 5 just going through is Carl Smalley. Nice to have Carl Smalley with us. Again, he was at Cadwell earlier in the season as well. Last year's Thundersport 500 champion. Would certainly like to see a bit more of Carl out in this championship next year, because I think he'd be able to contend, much like the guys out front of this. The three front runners at the moment all got a bit of experience and all pretty handy. Joel Williams here, number 33, as I said, won at Donington Park last time out, and he has got quite a bit of 250 GP experience, 125s as well. He really blitzed the field last time out. At the front though, it's Chris Hellewell and Nick Wainwright that are tussling for the lead. There goes Mark Foster and Carl Smalley. Then Carl Foster up ahead of James Want, number 79. That's Mike Horbury, number 9. He goes through ahead of, that looked like Carl Vickers, one of our Royal Navy riders. Brad Davey, number 14, an ex-Street Fighter winner. And braking underneath Chris Hellewell, there goes Nick Wainwright. We're on board here with Chris Hellewell, Sparklight Racing Yamaha 600. These are these cameras that he's got on his glasses effectively whilst he's riding inside his visor, so you've got a proper bird's eye view here of what Cadwell looks like with Chris Hellewell down through the gooseneck as he tries to chase down Nick Wainwright. Chris Hellewell, of course, a race winner in Formula 600. He's been in Superstock 600, he's been in Golden Era Superbike as well. It's always difficult to try and get some sponsorship and some money together to get him racing. He's got the talent, there's no doubt about that. But this might just suit him perfectly, this class. There's Joel Williams then, just in 3rd place. They're all chasing down number 68, Nick Wainwright from Beverley on the Paints Fiction Racing Yamaha. Here he is. Left, right, left through Hall Bends and then braking downhill into the hairpin. In these conditions, as you saw from before the break in the 500s, really, really slippery. There is Carl Foster then, the champion, up ahead of number 79, James Want from Leeds on the A1 Press Racing Yamaha. Carl Smalley is out there on the Bruce Cousin Motors Yamaha. All of these personal sponsors for these teams. 33, Joe Williams is from Manchester on the Haulage Services Yamaha. And there is Mark Foster. And now James Want once more. So Foster's got the championship wrapped up, and I'm pretty sure he'll be happy about that, given what's going on circuit at the moment. These guys are in a class of their own. They're breaking away from the rest of the pack. Chris Hellewell at the moment not being shaken off by the race leader. Joel Williams just struggling to stick with them. There's Mike Horbury, number 9. He's been on the podium a fair few times last year in Golden Era Superbike, in fact, on a Suzuki. Now then, we exit Mansfield Corner. The top 3 at the moment still close enough. Joel Williams just about hanging on to them there. Certainly seems to be the part of the circuit where he benefits. There's almost a move from Mike Horbury on James Watt, and Carl Foster is getting held up a bit here as well as they go into the new chicane. James Watt there as well, so those guys are all battling for 4th place. Here are your race leaders then. Nick Wainwright, Chris Hellewell. Chris from Rotherham always brings a fair few people along to race with him. His brother Liam's raced a fair bit as well. Carl Foster, James Watt and Mike Horbury there. Mike Horbury almost losing the front end, taking a bit too much curve. Now there's Neil Harvey, number 1. Neil Harvey at the moment is actually leading the steel frame competition, and there's Chris Spink, number 142, the champion of that class. Neil Harvey said to me earlier on in the season that when the weather gets a bit tough, he gets going. He seems to find it not quite as tough in the wet as it has been at times in the dry for him. He came over as the Derby Phoenix steel frame champion last year, hence the number 1. Now on board with Chris Hellewell then, nicknamed Skidmarx. You can see that there just on the screen as he gets into the slipstream. This is nice. He's now going to go up into the lead, into Park Corner. Good stuff then from Chris Hellewell, and he takes the lead up ahead of Nick Wainwright. Uses all of the exit there, but manages to regroup through Chris Curve, now into the really ridiculously fast gooseneck here at Cadwell. They're coming up on some traffic, look. Just see the red lights on the back there. They are encouraged to use them, riders, in these conditions. Number 31, Stephen Chadwick, that is, who's just been lapped by race leader Chris Hellewell, and both he and Nick Wainwright have pulled away now from Joel Williams. Oh, dearie me. Now, that was Chris Hellewell trying to go past Phil Cox, perhaps a little audaciously looking to go around the outside of him into the new chicane. Doesn't work out. Not Phil's fault. He rejoins out front. He's not really... Has he gained a position? He has. So he's let him through. And just to make sure, he won't get penalised now for that. So nice one there from Chris Hellewell, using all of his knowledge. It would have been ever so easy just to carry on there out front, take the checkered flag, and then find when you get into Parc Fermé that you've got a penalty of some sort. So Hellewell's going to have to do all the work all over again. You can just see a bit of a dry line appearing now here at Cadwell Park as we go past the start finish straight. Now the last lap flag is out, so Chris Hellewell has it all to do on this final lap. So far the fastest lap of the race are in the 140s. Hellewell is going to need something special here on the Sparklight Racing Yamaha. Around Charlie's in, and now Charlie's out. So far that looks good. He's pulled in a couple of tenths, and look at the speed he's got around here. Just up ahead of him, Nick Wainwright a bit wide onto the back straight, so this is the opportunity now then for Chris Hellewell. He's really in the slipstream, and will he have another go into Park Corner? He will. Brilliant stuff then from Chris Hellewell. He moves out front. This could be some lap here from Chris Hellewell. He looked like he was a good 5 or 6 tenths behind when they started that lap, and he really does mean business here. The TV cameras are rolling, and he's looking to see out the 2015 season with a win. There are a few rumours spreading that he might not be racing next year, and that this might be it. So what a swan song it would be, although I've heard many a rider say that to us before at the end of the season. So Hellewell here looking brilliant. Nick Wainwright doesn't have an answer, I don't think, in the closing stages. Through the mountain we go, over the top, and now it would just take a mistake from Hellewell to prevent him from winning this race. Through Hall Bends we go. Tiptoey stuff for Hellewell. Braking nice and neatly. Yeah, I think he's got that one in the bag. This is James Watt. He leads the battle for 4th. Up ahead there of Carl Smalley and Mike Horbury. So Mark and Carl Foster have fallen back a bit. But the checkered flag is out. That is a brilliant win. Chris Hellewell takes it, and a 1:39 on the last lap as well. That's a good, solid win for Hellewell, ahead of Nick Wainwright, Joel Williams. James Watt finishes in 4th ahead of Carl Smalley. Mike Horbury takes 6th place overall. On the podium there then, Chris Hellewell, Nick Wainwright and Joel Williams. That's Short Golden Era Supersport. And in the steel frame, Neil Harvey the winner from Phil Page and Chris Pink.
Well, Chris, I can't tell you how pleased I am to see you up here and win that race. And I know there's a lot of things you want to say here, so I'll probably shut up. But well done. What do you got to say about that, man?
I'm speechless. It's turned up this weekend. Thanks Sparklight Racing for the bike this weekend. It's pretty stock. It's nothing special, as we know. But yeah, we just rid it, enjoyed it. I wanted to enjoy the last moment, you know what I mean? If it is, it is. It's what it is. I've got no more money. We need sponsors. But yeah, just toddled away on that race. I passed him, but I skipped the chicane, and we're both probably both sides of back markers. So I thought the sporting thing were to let him pass. Didn't want to get it took off me by default. Got to win it properly. Managed to do it at last lap. I think I got fastest lap, but tyre was shot. Never had so many slides, but it's fun, but it's crazy. I just want to say a massive thank you to my friends, my family, Uncle Mark, who's helped me through the years. Dave Ogden has also helped me. All my sponsors, Rainfield Arms. I could go through them all. Wilson Windows, Barry Coker. I've also had Express Coatings at times, Excite Technologies. I've done this for my dad this weekend. I wanted one final hoorah, and I wanted to do it with you. And I can't believe I've won, you know what I mean? It's bad enough getting 2 podiums and a light record yesterday. I was mesmerised by that. I just winning that was... I'm lost, honest to God. I want to say thank you to everybody. Sorry if I forgot anybody, but you're all appreciated. You've made everything come true for me and my dad.
There's Chris Hellewell then celebrating that victory. Join us again after the break for the final race of the season. Welcome back to Cadwell Park, Golden Era Supersport time now. There is number 68, Nick Wainwright, finished second earlier on, but lining up on pole position with that wet front, Sparklight Racing's Chris Hellewell. Chris, who will be dedicating his victories, of course, to his late father, and I'm sure that he'll be watching down and be very impressed with Chris so far here this weekend. There's Mike Horbury, number 9, the champion in Golden Era Supersport, number 18, Carl Foster. Just on the left of your picture here is Mark Foster, number 36. So we look to the lights. Away we go here at Cadwell Park. A really good start there for Chris Hellewell, front pole position, and he'll surely get the whole shot into turn 1. Joel Williams also a good start for him, number 33, up into second place, ahead of Wainwright. And they'll go into Charlie's and down the back straight. We're on board here with Hellewell. There's a bit of clear air for him here as he heads onto the back straight. The rider from Rotherham who won race 1. It certainly wasn't easy. He was kept honest throughout by Nick Wainwright. And what will happen here as he's just been overtaken by Joel Williams down into Park Corner. In 4th place there is Carl Smalley, up ahead of number 9 Mike Horbury. Further back there's Phil Page. Saw him on the podium earlier on. Phil on the Reg Prentice Racing Honda CVR 600, just in case you're wondering why he's called that. Just take a look at him when he's on the podium, bless him. Phil helps out a lot behind the scenes with ThundersportGB, so everybody thankful to have Phil in the paddock year on, year out. In fact, the whole family helping out with just about everything behind the scenes at ThundersportGB. On board with Chris Hellewell then through the new chicane, trying to chase down 33 Joel Williams, ex-125GP and 250GP rider. Then it's Wainwright, bit of a gap back then to Carl Smalley, former Thundersport 500 champion himself. Number 24 is Jamie Pearson from Derby on the 2-wheel performance Yamaha. Now that name may be a decent memory for you. He was last year's Golden Era Supersport champion, Jamie Pearson. And of course brother of Shane Pearson, who went on to win the Golden Era Superbike Championship. Jamie, actually, last time I saw Jamie, he had both of his arms in casts after a crash. But there he is, number 24. Nice bright bike there for us to spot. Decent rider, Jamie Pearson. Not had as much track time as I suspect he would have liked this year, because otherwise we'd be seeing him dicing at the sharp end for sure, but at the moment he's fighting it out with this year's Golden Era Supersport champion. So 2 champions there going at each other's throats. There's James Want just tipping into Coppice as well, number 79, but out front it is still Joel Williams, Chris Hellewell, and then this man here, number 68, Nick Wainwright from Beverley on the Paints Fiction Racing Yamaha. So far so good. The 3 Yamahas out front, not split by an awful lot. Good riding style from Joel Williams. He was superb at Donington Park in the dry. Nobody could get anywhere near him. That said, these 2 guys weren't in that race. We didn't have Chris Hellewell or Nick Wainwright last time out. Mark Foster further back is at the moment going a bit better than his brother Carl. see a few faces in the grandstand there, despite the weather conditions here at Cadwell Park. So Joel Williams it is that has this advantage. Through Hall Bends we go then. Try and avoid those white lines and the curves. In these conditions they will be treacherous. They're braking off camber. You can see it's off camber there. That's why you see so many crashes. Low sides, high sides, and then again off camber down into Barn Corner. A few people looking over their shoulder. Number 81 is Carl Vickers from Dunfermline, one of our Royal Marine riders. It's a fair old trek that is from Dunfermline to any circuit in the UK. Of course, not a million miles away from the Knockhill circuit. There is Carl Foster and Jamie Pearson continuing to fight it out for what is at the moment 7th place, I believe. Mike Horbury's just up ahead of those guys. So Williams leads from Hellewell and Wainwright. Further back, this is Carl Foster, number 18, with Jamie Pearson hassling him just up behind. We've got another rider in there for company now as well. Martin Bloomfield's out there. Brad Davey leads these steel frames, by the way, number 14. And Brad Davey, believe it or not, could, because Jack Haverkamp's not here, sneak into 2nd place overall in the championship with a decent result here in this 2nd race. We're now on board with Chris Hellewell then, over the top of the mountain. Just see the front end going loose. Now into Hall Bends. Now watch this, right, left, right again. Then sit the bike up straight, cut that corner off, hard on the brakes, tip it right. Very technical, that part of the circuit, easy to go wrong. There's Mark Foster and Mike Horbury. Those guys are in 4th and 5th place. They're about 10, 11 seconds behind 3rd place rider Nick Wainwright, who's just lost touch now with these two out front. So it's going to be between Williams and Hellewell. Dry line appearing once more here at Cadwell Park as we join Chris Hellewell at Charlie's out. Uphill, then downhill again. Look how many off-camber corners there are here at Cadwell Park. Brilliant round here. Chris Hellewell really has got Charlie's out nailed, hasn't he? He was brilliant in race 1 there, and he's done it again here. Pulls out of the slipstream and makes the move down into Park Corner. Can he get it stopped? Oh, the bike's shaking its head a bit. He lets off the brakes, and that is done really well there by Chris Hellewell. Really pushing the nose of his Yamaha R6. Both riders out front, it looks like, have got the wet weather option tyres on, and it's just not warm enough to be able to put anything else on. You've got to try and generate heat in those tyres in these cool conditions, and when it's damp as well, you need those blocks on the wets to try and generate the heat. And at the moment, Chris Hellewell has got this thing just about on rails. Joel Williams, having been overtaken, certainly in this last couple of corners, doesn't look like he's got much of an answer for Hellewell. Again, we fall back now to the battle for 4th. Mark Foster and Mike Horbury. Further back, Carl Foster, Mark's brothers, trying to fend off Jamie Pearson and Carl Smalley for 6th place. So there are the leaders. This is 3rd place man, Nick Wainwright. Really getting the hammer down there on the throttle on the exit of the hairpin. Here is Mike Horbury trying to chase down Mark Foster. Mark Foster looks like he's going to finish the championship inside the top 5. Horbury probably just going to try and sneak into the top 10 overall with a decent result here. Both riders been in the championship for most of the year, although the Foster brothers did miss 1 round. I'm trying to think what round that, I think it was Anglesey they missed because of the Manx GP. Hellewell it is then that has this advantage. He got out front ahead of Joel Williams at Park Corner on that last lap and has managed to build up a lead there of a good 8 or 9 tenths, and he might just check out now. I'm not sure if Joel Williams will wave the white flag or not. His fight continues though for 4th place. Are they going to catch Nick Wainwright? No. They're still about a second a lap slower than Nick Wainwright in 3rd place. So, now there's a rider wandering off, and that is number 81, Carl Vickers. And that's the end of his race. He's obviously gone down somewhere. At least he's up and he's walking away. On board again here with Chris Hellewell, braking hard now into the mountain. This is a positively cambered chicane, but it can go horrifically wrong, as we've seen so many times over the last few years. Now he's coming up on some traffic, so he's going to have to be a bit careful here, Chris Hellewell. He's got a nice lead. That is Phil Page. In fact, look at that. he's coming up to lap the guys that were first and second in the steel frame race in race 1 earlier on. They come up onto the start-finish straight then, and the last lap flag is out. There's Joel Williams in second. In the background there is Phil Cox. He's just been lapped by Joel. Now on board with Chris Hellewell then. So we go around Charlie's. Look at the speed he carries around here as he disarms Phil Page. And now, or was that Neil Harvey, or is it Neil Harvey he's now coming up on? We'll soon find out as we make our way into Park Corner. Careful, careful. It was Neil Harvey that he'd managed to just get past there. It's another rider he's going past now. Into Chris Curve, into the gooseneck. And we reach the halfway point of this final lap. Looking like being a double win here for Chris Hellewell. We saw double wins in Thundersport 500. Looks like double wins here in the Golden Era Supersport as well. He's still pushing it on this final lap, Chris Hellewell. 1:41 his best lap so far. It's on lap 6. But he has a big look over his shoulder. He's got this one in the bag. Look, and there you see, he knows he hasn't got to push it now. Just neatly done into the chicane. You have to keep your concentration levels up, and just as I say that, Chris Hellewell goes and nods to a few people over at the clubhouse bar. There's still probably the most tricky and technical part of the circuit left though. Through the hairpin, down through the gears. Nice and gentle now on the throttle, and that should be that. Nick Wainwright's going to take third place here, number 68. Good weekend for him on the podium. The checker flag is out. Chris Hellewell has done it. Number 64, the double win. And he dedicates it to his dad. Brilliant stuff there from Chris Hellewell. He takes the double win in the Golden Era Supersport on the Sparklight Racing Yamaha R6, finishing ahead of Joel Williams and Nick Wainwright. Mark Foster finished in 4th at the end. He did hold off Mike Horbury. Jamie Pearson managed to get past Carl Foster and Carl Smalley to take 6th. And there's the top 3 on the podium. Hellewell, Williams and Wainwright. And just like that, 2015 is done and dusted. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this season. We'll see you at Brands Hatch when we start all over again in 2016.